Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you so much for attending this afternoon. Today's webinar is going about utility assistance resources in Connecticut. We're going to take a half an hour to go through some of the various programs in the state. We're going to talk about how to use some of the tools on our 211ct.org website. We are going to take some time at the end for some questions and answers. So I will try to save about 5 minutes at the end for questions and answers. We're recording this session so that we can put it onto our website with the rest of our archived webinars for future training needs. And just some housekeeping before we officially kick it off here. All of you are in a silent mode. So if you have a question, I would please kindly ask that you use the Q&A feature in the webinar software to type in your question. And then again, at the end, I will be able to move over into that section and answer those questions that anyone may have typed in. If you use that function, not the chat, so Q&A, that's actually attached to the email you used to register. So if I run out of time and I need to get a hold of you after the fact to give you an answer, then I'll have your email attached to your question. All right, so my name is Kate Quigley. I am our lead resource specialist and project manager here at the United Way of Connecticut 211. We are broadcasting live today from our offices in Rocky Hill. And again, we're thrilled that all of you had interest in this webinar this afternoon. So two goals that I would like to try to accomplish during the webinar today would be one, to help you navigate our 211ct.org website to find utility assistance programs that are offered across Connecticut. And the other goal that I would like to try to accomplish is to help you determine eligibility for these programs and know how to apply or how to assist your clients to apply for these programs that are available. So we're going to get into more of those specifics in just a few moments, but what I wanted to do to kick off the webinar was to allow you to watch this very short 5-minute video, which is an excerpt from an HBO documentary called American Winter. What it does is it really paints the picture on our role as a 211 and the ways that we, along with community agencies, can assist people who are dealing with crises, especially if it's a utility crisis situation. So, the folks in this video are not our Connecticut 211 staff, but just know that what they're highlighting here in this video is really how we operate here through our contact center when we handle calls from the public. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna start the video.
Thank you for calling 211. How can I help you?
I was told to call you guys to see if you have any resources for rental assistance.
211, largely funded by the United Way, provides access to a confidential information and referral service that connects you with a broad range of community, government, and faith-based services in your local area.
My daughter's been very ill since September, off and on, and I have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in doctor bills.
We're gonna get an eviction tomorrow. We just don't know.
I see if I can find some resources in your area.
The trained professionals at 211 provide referrals to services such as rent and utility assistance, shelter and housing connections for the homeless, nutritional assistance and basic food benefits, and transportation coordination and assistance.
I was told to call you folks. Gonna have some problems making a electric payment and everything. You're a 50-year-old man and you have to call your dad to pay the electric bill.
There's so many families that were stable, that were happy, that could, focus on their dreams, and now they're focused on, how am I going to feed my family for the next week? How am I going to pay the bill? How am I going to avoid disconnection with service?
211 is available in most communities by phone and in some cases over email, text, chat, and online databases.
Yes, I was calling to inquire about internet.
I work for the Alpha Plasma Center. They laid off 1,500 people I walked into the house and she was sitting in the kitchen in the dark, and I was like, Mom, what's wrong? And like she was crying because she just didn't know what she was gonna do for food for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, the only agencies that I'm showing of having any funding are Neighborhood House and Human Solutions.
211 is also available to provide immediate information and direction to resources in times of disaster, including hurricanes and wildfires, and emergency needs such as flu shots and employer layoffs. The United Way and 211 both provide post-disaster support and follow-up.
I am looking for houses for myself and my son. I am a recent widow.
I came home from work one day and my son looks at me and says, Dad's in the back of that ambulance. They said within him being there not even 2 hours that he was septic and that he was going to die.
He was sick on a Friday and died Easter Sunday.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So it's going to be a little rough the next couple days. I'm going to be staying at the shelter I don't know the name of.
People ask me where I lived at school, but I just said I lived in a safe place or by that place, so like they wouldn't like make fun because my school is very like judgmental. They'll make fun of you if you live somewhere that isn't regular or normal.
Okay, I can do a housing connection search for things that might be near you. It's a huge education moment for us to really be a mirror for what's happening in the community. So that does put us in a very unique and I think somewhat powerful position to just say, this is what's happening. We can help you problem solve and come up with some solutions, but more our role is illuminating what the issues are. And that's, I think, a unique spot that's not Democratic or Republican. It's saying, hey, here's what's happening to your neighbors. We want to help you come up with some solutions so that it doesn't have to be this way.
Thank you for calling 211. How can I help you today?
Our water has been turned off for 3 days.
The power was shut off. The gas has been shut off now too.
I'm not used to being able to provide basic things like water.
So one agency that you can contact in your area is called Community Action. We're going to get electricity turned back on today and your gas today. It's all going to be today. So I will be right back in just a second, okay?
I'm just dumbfounded.
Oh, no. Really? You hear license plates? Let me do it.
Oh my God.
See guys?
211 has been helping us out dramatically. Without all that, I don't know what we would have done. I really don't. Probably on the streets, not be able to eat or anything. I mean, so I am thankful for that.
What the callers tell me is it is such a relief to be able to tell their story to someone who's not going to be judgmental. When I'm talking with people, that is the gift I can give them, is that I'm listening to them, I can be compassionate. Sometimes I am thrilled when I know I'm sending them to an organization that is specifically going to help that person. And I'm pretty happy when that happens.
There are not enough resources in our communities to meet all the needs. Leaders in 211 and the United Way invite you to help fund, support, and join the 211 movement in your community. 211, excellent everywhere, always. The United Way, give, advocate, volunteer, live united.
All right, so I hope that video shed some light as to our role here at 211 and 211s across the country, but really also about the needs that people have when they have fallen on hard times. And again, for the focus of the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk specifically about utility assistance, but often when someone calls us to ask for help with utilities, there are usually other needs presented as well in terms of housing or food. So our staff here who are handling the calls will do a full assessment and make sure that they're addressing all of those needs. So here on the screen now is our mission here at the United Way of Connecticut. And so we really want to help meet the needs of Connecticut and its residents by providing information, education, and connection to services. So we do that by having the largest and most comprehensive database of health and human services in the state. We maintain that, myself and my team. We have more than 40,000 programs offered at more than 4,000 agencies in Connecticut. So when our 211 contact center staff are looking up resources, that's the database that they're using, but the general public is also using that when they visit 211ct.org, which we will do together momentarily. About 360 of these programs are related to utility assistance. So we have a good number of resources, and some of you on the webinar today may represent some of the organizations and programs that we list. And we always say that the information is only as good as what's provided to us when we do our annual and interim updates. So if you do work for an organization and you need to get a hold of us, I'll bring up our email at the end so you can help us keep this information as up to date as it can be. So each program has very specific eligibility criteria. And so what I wanted to do first was to show you our energy assistance utility e-library. So we created an e-library of about 400 papers. The resource was started for our contact center staff, but it blossomed to become a very heavily utilized resource on our website. I'm going to click into this link here and just the options that are available within this category of our website. After the webinar, I should note that I will send all of you this PowerPoint so you have the direct links into the database. Okay, so this particular section of our e-library focuses mainly on the energy programs. There are some that discuss certain processes, whether it's power outages or utility shutoffs. Some of them talk specifically about programs like winter protection, and others address needs of renters who might have heat complaints, and so on. What I did want to bring to your attention were actually the first two at the top here. So the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program, or CEAP, is actively taking applications at this point in time. People call us and we refer them to this program, which helps people with their primary source of heat, whether that's gas, electric, or a deliverable fuel, so oil or propane, kerosene, pellets. They would cover any deliverable fuel if the household is eligible. So I wanted to make you aware that there is an income guideline for this program. Households with income at or below 60% of the state median income. So if you are helping a client and you're not sure about this program, you can read all of the specifics in this paper, which this information is verified by the State Department of Social Services, who administers this program. But if you want to learn how to assess for the state median, I'm going to just go back into that category here. The second listing is actually the state median income, chart that our staff actually use to assess eligibility for both the CEAP program, but many other programs as well. So 60% of the state median means that if I have a household of 3 people, I have to be at or below $58,430 on an annual basis to qualify for the CEAP program, the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. And so all the applications for the Energy Assistance Program are taken at the local community action agencies and their affiliated sites. And in the video we saw the folks that went down to their community action, and then the next day they could flip the switch and the lights came back on. So there is this network here where folks will call us. We're going to provide the referrals to the local community agencies, and then they're going to work with people to apply for the programs. Okay, I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint here for a moment. Pardon all the jumping around. The other piece of the resources that I'm going to show you momentarily is searching directly from our 211ct.org website. So there's a couple of different ways to do it. This PowerPoint highlights 2 of the 3 methods. So one is what we call our help statements, which are located on our homepage. So for the examples of utilities, I need help paying my utility, either gas, electric, heating fuel, or water bill, or my utilities are going to be shut off. So these are real scenarios. that people present to us all the time, these situations that they are in and they need help. So this is how individuals present themselves when they call into 211. And behind the scenes, we've embedded all of the resources that would meet those particular needs. And so just the note of caution here, and we'll go to the live website in a moment. When you choose any one of these, they will default to a Connecticut search, so a complete statewide search. You will have results by a zip code for best results. And then a second way to search on 211ct.org is through our categories. So on our homepage, we have various categories, and you see utility assistance is highlighted here. I'm actually going to go directly into that category now. And you're going to see a lot of different options here. So just the lay of the land, we'll dive a little bit deeper in a second. We do mention the Operation Fuel program, which is another great program that is accepting applications at sites that still have funding until the end of this month. We directly link to the Operation Fuel website right here, where someone can find their application site in their town. They have a very easy lookup tool on their website. We also have our 211 Navigator. Some of you who've attended past webinars of ours before probably have seen the Navigator in action. It's a benefit screener that will assess for state and federal programs. I'm not going to go through it because we don't have enough time, but I will let you know on our website and our archived webinars, we certainly have the full webinar about the Navigator available should you want to know more. And then further down on this page are just a couple quick little videos provided by the Eversource Utility Company about some of their programs, Winter Protection, New Start, and the Matching Payment Program. So from this category, you can expand any one of these boxes. We're going to sort of guide you through this by asking a couple of questions to see what program you might need. This is, again, the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program that we already talked about. We have links to energy conservation improvement programs, very specifics for help with gas bills, electric bills, deliverable fuels, water payment assistance. There are a few programs that have come about in the last couple of years that are now helping people to pay water bills. And I think, again, referencing the video, that was another need that that family had, that the water was going to be shut off too. And then the next category is just regular utility assistance, which will give you links to help if there's a utility complaint, or if someone's at risk of utility disconnection, or they need an initial connection or a repair. So we link to the utility companies for those particular services as well. And then suggested reading. So again, resources at your fingertips here, people. These are the e-library papers that we looked at the beginning. So they're also available here from the category. So I'm actually going to go to our homepage and show you the help statements that I showed you in the PowerPoint. So if I just click in the search box, this box is going to expand for me. So we have this one here, I need help paying my utility bill, and then this one here, my utilities are going to be shut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this one. I need help with my utility bill, and the guidance here is to put in a zip code. I'm just going to put in 06457, which is Middletown, and click search. And what you're going to see is a list of 10 results. And I just want to draw your attention to the terms that are embedded behind the scenes to this particular statement of I need help with my utility bill. So it includes electric service payment, heating fuel payment assistance, discounted heating fuel, utility budget billing, gas service payment, and water service. So if you're using these help statements, just know it's a much broader look at these resources. And if you are helping someone, or you're doing this search for yourself, you don't need help with your water, you just take out the water one. And you don't need help with the gas, just take that one out too. And you'll see the results will start to narrow down as you go. If you take the time and look into the details of each program and you think that these are good fits for you, you can add the resource. So I would highly recommend to sign up for a My 211 account if you haven't done so already. I'm actually logged into my 211 account already, so I have the option to create and save and share lists with others. So you can create a new resource name, just going to say energy assistance. I create a list. It tells me it's added to the list. I keep scrolling. There's a actual fund here through the city of Middletown. I'm going to add that one as well. I'm going to select my list now that I've created it. Energy assistance, add to list. And let's say you perhaps have someone who might qualify for the Ryan White Part A or B Assistance Fund. Again, eligibility very specific for each. Check the details. I can not say that enough to know what the income guidelines are. This one screens by the federal poverty guideline. Okay, so let's say again that these are good. You're going to add this one to your list. Sorry, a little internet hiccup here. I'm going to go right to my list and show you just how to share. And if it takes too long, I will just tell you that it is entirely possible to do this. I may just have a slower connection today. Okay, so here's my list I just created. I open the list. I can print it, I can share it, I can send it by email, I can send it by text, and there you are. So these lists can be as long as you want them to be, and they're saved until you delete them. So, and you can build up as many as you'd like. If you'd like to start after this webinar ends to build up some lists, I empower you to do that. All right, so I am going to go back into the PowerPoint one more time here. Thank you all for your patience again. And what I'm just going to show you here, the final thing, and then I will stop and we can take some questions. We have an online data dashboard that is called 211 Counts. And again, just like I mentioned our navigator, we have a whole webinar dedicated to learning how to use 211 Counts. So I don't have enough time to do that with all of you today, but just know there is a webinar exclusively on learning how to use 211 Counts. So on the 211 Counts, we look at electric, gas, water, deliverable fuel, payment, protection plans, and 9.7% of the total calls into 211 in the last 365 days were around utilities, which equals approximately 30,849 requests for utility assistance. So if we click quickly onto the 211 Counts, if you are someone that has to report information to your agencies, perhaps you want to talk to your local representatives about the needs in your community, this is a really great tool to use. It's free. The data is as good as of last night. It's populated every single night. It'll show you all information within the last 365 days. You can change that. There are a lot of great filters. You can narrow results down by geographic areas, congressional districts, counties. I, again, don't have enough time to do all of that with you today, but I'm just going to click on the utilities one and you'll see the numbers that I just read to you will appear. So we first are at percent. You can flip it to count and you'll see that 30,849, which includes all of these things, as well as the areas where we couldn't meet the need of the caller because there wasn't a resource available or the caller themselves wasn't eligible. So we go back to that income assessment that we talked about, 60% state median, let's say. If someone wasn't eligible and the referral wasn't appropriate, our staff tag that as what we call an unmet need, so that all of that data rolls up into these reports here, which can be used to identify where there are gaps in services. Okay, so with all of that, I tried to get as much in as I possibly could this afternoon. I am going to pause for just a quick second. I'm going to check and see if anyone has questions. And again, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go back to our website and I'm going to just show you where to find those webinars I referenced that are archived. If you hit professionals here in the toolbar, on our professionals page is where you can also find the link for 211 Counts. But under outreach and training, This is where you probably registered for this webinar. You can find out when we have upcoming webinars. Here are the archived webinars, or you can request a presentation or webinar from us for your organization. All the archived webinars are here, so the Navigator, 211 Counts, and many others that we have done through all of these years. So please check those out when today's is done. When I stop the recording, we will put this one in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to check and just see if anybody has any questions. And it looks like no one has typed in a question, but what I'll do is pause to just say, if you have a question, please go ahead and type it in now, because I am looking at that area of the software, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so it looks like no questions, which is completely fine. I will put up the final slide, which is how to get a hold of us here at 211. So if you would like to stay in touch, obviously we are here 24/7. So by calling 211, you will get a trained contact specialist that can do a full assessment with you or your client. They can answer questions. We are here 24/7. Our website is of course available anytime, 201ct.org. And then for any resource or program questions, or if you work for an organization and you want to update your information, let's say you're maybe adding a new program or one of your programs has unfortunately lost funding, we need to know those things. So again, when people are searching the website, they have the most current information. Our email is there. This is my department, my team. We act on these inquiries as quickly as we can. info@211ct.org to get a hold of my information services department here. Again, I'm Kate Quigley. I appreciate your time this afternoon. I'll check one more time to see if anybody may have typed in a question, and then if not, we will close the webinar. And again, I appreciate everyone's time. Send an email if you have questions about how to look up anything I went through today, but I will send the PowerPoint out as soon as I can. All right. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for tuning in.